Hello, everybody. This is Lindrell Downs, founder of Cybersecurity DIVAS, and I got Crystal Finkboner on the line right now, and she is the Business Information Security Officer for NTT. Crystal, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm great. As everybody knows, I've been out for about a year and a half, had breast cancer, and I have survived it, and I'm here for a reason, and this is the reason, to actually get our women in cybersecurity out there and telling their story. So, Crystal, can you tell me a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Well, I've been in IT and security for over 20 years now. I got started in IT before I really knew it was IT. I used to be playing around with Adobe Photoshop and loved editing pictures. That transitioned me into a consignment manager role for an internet auction site. They wanted to be like eBay. And from there, I started asking. I'm very curious, love just knowing how things work. They showed me about the programming of the website, and that was done in Cold Fusion. I started learning that. And then we needed to set up a computer lab. I said, hey, I'll help with that too. We started running network cabling. Prior to that, I hadn't done that either. And then transitioning forward, I was working as an IT specialist, and this is how I transitioned into security. Transitioning from my original start in IT and the things that I was taking on, then I started to work on the side doing some computer repair. I did that for a number of years, also did a lot of consulting, and was doing little bits of security, but at that point, I really didn't know security was a thing. So that was a long time ago. I took a role as an IT specialist, and with that, I was looking at network traffic and various things. I noticed we had a problem. There was a 0-day that had come out, and this was before 0 days were a thing, before you were really hearing about, incidents and breaches. I discussed with my boss. I said, hey, based on what I'm finding and what I'm seeing and research of what I think this is linked to, we need to pull finance offline. And so she was speaking with others in the community. They were starting to see the same type of thing. Her brother was actually a network administrator at the time. He had differing opinions than what I had, but thankfully she listened to me, and so did the rest of the executive team. We took finance offline. They were driving checks to the bank for a couple of weeks, but ultimately we stayed out of the paper. We didn't lose a penny. And unfortunately, others in the same district lost 6 figures on that same 0-day.
Wow.
It was definitely financial stealing. And it was that whole process of, once the discovery was there and all of the things that transpired with incident response and the mitigation and the forensics, that I said, hey, I want to learn how to do this. I want to run a team that can do this. I started researching, and Penn State actually had a master's degree program in Homeland Security and Forensics. I started out there, then transitioned to cybersecurity and information assurance, which is what I finished with my master's for Penn State.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. So you've been in IT, you said, for 20 years?
Yeah, over 20 years.
Okay. So
I should downplay that. I should start just going backwards, right?
Okay. So who was the mentor that started you off in your journey?
Not necessarily started me off in my journey, but one that I would say has been the most critical in my journey, and that's Don Keller. He is in the Houston area, and I've known him for a good number of years. He's been a major advocate for information security as a whole.
At the end of your career, and I know you're still in your career, what do you want to finish, or what do you want your legacy to be about?
I'm very passionate about security awareness, and I know a number of people are, but even going back to Penn State and even previous to that, I've designed various cybersecurity programs, cybersecurity awareness programs, and executed on them. I think truly the awareness, raising awareness. I don't just do that for work. I do that throughout my personal life. People hear something, they right away. If they know me, they reach out to me, on the personal level, and hey, what can you say about this? So or I'm experiencing this. Should I be worried? Is this real? Those types of things.
I like that. Or over your career, we have obstacles. What is the one moment, one no moment, is the best way to put it, that you've had that didn't discourage you from carrying on in cybersecurity or in information technology?
Oh, I would say I was responsible for some security engineering. I was taking over some application that previously the foundation or how it was set up wasn't really known intricately. It was assumed and never assumed, but it was told to me. It was told to me that it was pretty well set up. If we released and it wasn't a patch, but it was a modification. We were going to do this push, and we ran through things multiple times. Said, okay, we're going to do this. We went through change process, the whole nine, right? And we pushed it out, and then all of a sudden, all of our main servers weren't responding. And for those that are in IT and security, we're talking Active Directory servers and those as well. It was a pain point for me and the extended, IT team, those that I worked very closely with to roll it back and to get everything up and going. And then I started dissecting the application, the rules and policies that existed to figure out where the error had occurred. That was a good eye opener.
Hey, everybody have those. I know I have. What has been the greatest challenge with getting to where you are today, especially at BISO?
The greatest challenge has been time, not necessarily knowledge, but time. So over the years, there's been a multitude of roles, and some of the tasks or job functions were, repetitive at a high level, but it's really been time, just being in management for, quite some time, in order to really evaluate and to see things and mature. So, everybody goes through that, I think.
I like that. How have you been able to get to this level in this male dominant area?
That one I think I would attribute to my parents. My dad was definitely, an advocate of me in the sense over the years to where he allowed me to experience it, but yet he guided and put an end to some of the things, growing up that I would see, as an example. Something that not a lot of people know unless you're really close to me, but I grew up working on cars with my dad on the side. At a very early age, I think I was 3, he had me, cleaning his tools because I wanted to know, it's that curiosity thing. I wanted to know what he was doing in the garage. It's a multitude of things. I was experiencing male dominated area from the beginning because, clearly that's another industry where, women are a minority in the car industry, and even with paint too. My stress relief for my daily grind is art. So I enjoy painting and drawing and such. So I airbrush. I've actually airbrushed motorcycles and ups and various things. I've been exposed to all this male dominated things. It doesn't really. I think you have to have a thicker skin, and as long as you have that, I think you're good. Like, I don't try and look at things as it's, male versus female. Although, of course, I think as a female, I felt like I've had to work that much harder than male counterparts generally. I've heard that from a lot of women.
Yeah, I've experienced that myself. I totally understand that. What advice would you give a young lady or mid-level security analyst who aspires to be a cybersecurity leader?
That's a good question. Thick skin, make sure that you figure out what you want to do your research, have mentors, people you can talk to. You want that community in order to be able to continue your foundation and your steps upward.
Okay, like that. Give me 3 words to describe yourself.
Strategic, passionate, and critical thinking.
What do you think the biggest concern in the state of our cybersecurity? What do you think the biggest concern is?
Me personally, I always like to analyze things. Matter of fact, typically before in conversations, I've already analyzed things multiple times, generally before speaking. I get accused of that here and there. I really think it boils down to hygiene. If you look at the various incident reports that are published, study any of the breaches that have been done, it really all boils down to hygiene.
That does make sense. So when you're saying hygiene, go down to the basics and make sure everything is cleaned, or that's just the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah, make sure the basics are in place. In today's world, I think the term that's commonly tossed around for that is zero trust. But in terms of basic hygiene, know your environment, make sure your patches are deployed in a timely manner, make sure you're doing pen tests. There's a whole list of basic hygiene things that you should be doing.
Okay, I like that. So my last question, what was the last show you've been watching?
NCIS, yeah.
Okay. I just saw the last season. I've been watching also. So I know the new one just came out. So I watched it the other day.
Yeah, NCIS origin. Yeah.
Yes, I'm the same way. Those are two of my favorites also. But no, I just really want to appreciate you coming on today. Just kind of give me your story and everything. Like I said, I've been gone for the past year and a half. I am a survivor of breast cancer, so I'm happy about that. And Cybersecurity DIVAS is just starting again. And this is going to be a great journey that we're all going to be on. So, Crystal, I really appreciate everything that you've done, your career, and being a bright light for our cybersecurity divas out there and other divas to come, and divas in the making, because we don't know who they are right now. So thank you for that.
Thank you, Lynn. I appreciate it.